5 Key Strategies to Protect Wealth. Once wealth crosses a certain point, it becomes surprisingly difficult to destroy. The methods that the rich use to maintain their wealth are always, similar. First, we have structural isolation. This means wealth is split across various entities and assets, so failure in one place cannot impact everything else. When most people face financial failure, it happens all at once because everything relies on the same source of cash like jobs, housing, and credit. Wealth is structured differently, as it is divided into independent parts that do not depend on one another to survive. A business can fail without touching personal assets, and a lawsuit can hit one entity without affecting the rest. This is the essence of structural isolation. Next up is pressure immunity. Most money problems arise not because something is inherently bad but because someone runs out of time. A bad investment isn't the end, and a poor decision usually isn't either. What turns a problem into a disaster is pressure. When pressure builds, waiting becomes an option that many don't have, and you must act even if it's at the worst possible moment. When wealth faces setbacks, it allows for no urgency. If prices fall, there's no forced selling. If income slows down, there is, no panic. If the market turns, there is more time to assess, which ultimately changes everything. And then we have time arbitrage. Time can change how money behaves. A decision might look bad in the short term, but great over the long term. Most people usually think short term, judging decisions by what happens next month rather than over 5 or 10 years. Wealth is built so that time ultimately works in its favor. The next principle is institutional risk absorption. Institutions care about stability. Maintaining a long-term relationship is more crucial than enforcing strict rules. Problems around wealth are typically identified early and are, managed proactively. When something goes wrong, damage is limited to that specific situation, helping to prevent broader issues. Finally, we discuss diversification by failure mode. Many think diversification simply means owning different assets. However, it is important to diversify by how those assets might fail. For example, a portfolio might include cash-flowing businesses, real estate, and fixed income instruments which behave differently under economic stress. In the end, not losing money when you have enough is more important than constantly trying to make more. Wealth isn't just built by winning big, but by staying intact long enough for advantages to add up. Thank you for spending some time with us today. We hope you enjoyed this and look forward to seeing you next time.